Merry meetings, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful morning, noon, night, evening, twilight, whatever time of day it is in your part of the world. If not, I am sorry, my heart is with you. Please know that there is always tomorrow. Today's reading is going to be about challenges for the week, our strengths and weaknesses regarding those challenges, and the advice that we can use in order to use our strength to counteract our weaknesses and deal and overcome the challenges that we have this upcoming week. And today's deck is going to be the Empath Oracle by Raven Digitalis. I hope I said that right. Before we begin, I want you to take a moment to relax. Take in a deep breath through the nose all the way into your belly, right above the belly button where our solar plexus is. For some people, that is where the soul seems to reside, around the solar plexus and heart chakra. So breathe into that area. That way we can connect to our highest self. And that way the truth can be revealed and we have the understanding to move forward with that truth and clarity. As we set the intention of connecting with our highest self, I'm going to fill the space of a wonder vibration from the tongue drum. I humbly call on the wisdom, guidance, knowledge, support, and love of my spiritual family and the higher powers that are and be. May the fates who are constant and ever-changing reveal the truth to us. May the Ascended Masters bless this session with realization, understanding, and clarity for the highest good of all. Ashe. Amen. Now, let us begin. The first card on the top is representative of our challenges for the week. And for this week, it is bonding with the rhythm of life. This week challenge seems to be concerning with coming to terms with how everything is in life and spiritual surrender to the knowledge that everything is exactly how it's supposed to be, which is a hard notion. It's a hard belief to have, especially if we've been looking at life lately and we've been experiences not only personal troubles but also see the troubles of other individuals, of other souls in the human experience. And as an empathic soul, of course, that, hurts you, and you can literally feel the weight of the world on your shoulders. I definitely experienced it last night while doing my meditation, and I literally felt the heaviness and the pain in my shoulders and around the middle of my back, and realizing that everything, even pain, even evil, it has its place and it has its time and it has its reasons. One of the lessons of the universe that I am learning, and at times I have come to terms with it, and at times I'm like, are you serious right now? It's the fact that evil is educational. Evil is educational. When something quote unquote evil happens, it has a couple of different reasons as to why it happened. It possibly happened due to the collective thoughts of other individuals, because as we all know, your thoughts create your reality. So what about the thoughts of 8 billion people? That has to make some kind of reality, a collective reality. And sometimes when we end up experiencing or witnessing heartbreaking things, that can be one of the reasons. This card also talks about realizing how sacred is life, including yourself, as well as the challenge of spiritually surrendering to the unknown, to the uncertainty of not knowing what is going to happen next. And we can flip it on the good side. The good thing of knowing, of not knowing, of what happens next is that literally anything can happen next, and that anything can be to your imagination. The next card will talk about our strengths in regards to this challenge, which is establishing emotional boundaries, which is definitely something that we as human beings need to know, hear, understand, and learn. When we, our strengths in regarding this is that we might have pretty good boundaries already, realizing what exactly belongs to us and what doesn't belong to us, where it starts and where it ends. And that will help us to understand the rhythm of life. Having emotional boundaries gives us to opportunity, instead of taking personally what another human being, which has their own set of realities, what they might say and what they might do, know that it doesn't actually pertain to you per se, but rather the reality that that other person is experiencing within their mind and within their hearts. The advantage of this card is that we are learning and progressing in recognizing not only your boundaries but the other boundaries of others. As empaths, we expect people to be open and trusting and honest as we try to be. However, due to ego or due to the shadow, other beings may not feel like they could be honest. And so their boundary so ends up having to be their ego that they base their identity of, or their shadow that they base their identity of. And when you come around being your true authentic self, it's going to end up triggering some people, either triggering them, hopefully triggering them into take a deeper, more honest look in the mirror and reflect on themselves, their behaviors, their actions, and their words. The next card is in regards to our weaknesses regarding this challenge, which is loving the self on all levels. And when I mean all of them, baby. Okay? Your mental levels, your physical levels, your spiritual levels, your emotional levels, the level of your ego, the level of your shadow, the level of your inner child, the level of your higher self. All of these deserve love. All of you deserve love. And in this week, that might be a little bit of a challenge, because if we're not applying proper boundaries in order to protect ourselves and protect our energies from any type of karmics or energy vampires, then that might be a little bit of a sign that we're not loving ourselves as much as we could be loving ourselves. We're not giving ourselves the peace of mind that comes from radically accepting yourself in every single aspect of you that you have, which every single aspect is deserving of love. Another message that I get from this card in particular is to release the need to be perfect. Not everything has to be absolutely perfect. And what exactly is perfect anyway? That is a question that we should definitely love ourselves. What is perfect to the self? Exactly. Not to your mama, not to your daddy, not to your brothers, your sisters, not to your teachers, not to the police officers. No, what is radical acceptance and true love, true compassion, true gentleness to the self? The ego or the shadow this week might be trying to convince you that you are a product of your upbringing. However, that is not true. Your past does not define you in any way, shape, or form. Now, it may define some chapters that we formerly lived in this life so far, but that does not correlate to the chapter that we are in now. What helps to counteract this perceived weakness is to reflect and meditate on the programming and the conditioning that we have received so far. What are our thoughts in our minds? What are our beliefs about ourselves? And where exactly did these beliefs come from? Because they had to have come from somewhere. Whether it was a person, a place, a thing, a situation, or an event that ended up having to struggle with loving the self on all levels, causing us to struggle with radical acceptance of the self. Be mindful of how the ego or the shadow is going to try to bring up thoughts of self-hatred, of regret, of shame, and of guilt. Okay, those are the conditionings. Those are part of the conditionings. So if you are walking around doing your thing and your mind starts to bring up these thoughts and these feelings, remind yourself that it is a conditioning, a programming, and it is not actually true. You are not stupid. You are not unlovable. You are not ugly. You are not too skinny or too fat. You are not too rich or too poor. You are beautiful and wonderful exactly the way you are. And that's something we're going to work on a little bit more. Yes, we will. Finally, our advice for the week: invoking guides, gods, and guardians. So if you ever need any form of clarity or, well, yeah, pretty much clarity on a situation or reassurance that what you're doing is the right thing, don't hesitate to meditate and invoke the gods that you know that are around you, the guides that you know are around you, because everyone has guides, and that includes you, my dear. You also have guides that are waiting on you to call on them for help so that they can come and tell you, hey, I got you. Hey, you got this. You can get through this. Understand this. This is exactly where this conditioning is coming from, or this is what your perceived karma is, or this is how we can start loving the self on all levels. This card can also be talking about connecting with your higher self, which is already in the spirit realm. A part of you is already back home, waiting on you to call on them so that they could give you the advice that you need in order to make through the challenges that you'll be facing this week. This card can also talk about other unseen realms, whether it's the fairy realm or the ascended master's realm or the nature realm. It's up to you to find out and to know which one that you best align with, because the one that you best align with will be the one that can help you the most. Without a doubt, this is a very beautiful reading that I feel will definitely be able to help us find the understanding and clarity of overcoming any challenges that we may come through for the week. The challenge of understanding the rhythm of life, the sacredness of life, which includes your life, because your life is just as sacred. Yes, it is. Realizing that you have the strength to establish emotional boundaries, that you have the strength to know where it is that you end and that the other person begins, and that you can empathize with another being with their struggles. However, you don't have to take it on your own. That is something we're progressing and learning with. Realizing that our self is lovable on all forms of levels, and that we don't have to take on the judgments and the perceptions of other beings, especially if they do not share our reality. Realizing, sitting down and meditating and embracing our shadow self, our ego self, our inner child self, and our higher self. Realizing that all of these forms are just as important as the other forms. No one form is more important than the other. And then finally, being able to connect to our guardian angels, to our spiritual guides or spiritual family, the gods that we accept, embrace, love, support, and that those who do the same for us, and guardians, whether that be the ascended masters or your guardian angels, or connecting with the fairy realm, or connecting with the ascended masters, the Akashic records, whatever it is that will bring you that clarity that you are looking for. Thank you so much, my friends, for being with me. I believe that is all that I can pull out from this reading today. Don't hesitate to add your own perspective to the reading, because I know that my reality is not your reality and your reality is not mine, but I respect and I acknowledge yours. Fellow souls, I wish you in this lifetime peace. I wish you love. I wish you happiness. I wish you fulfillment of the soul. We'll close this out with our tongue drum and breathe and know that you will be all right. Ashe. Amen. Blessed be.